Welcome to SoCal Detecting. As promised, this is my finds thus far. Basically, 2 solid weeks of metal detecting. I'm just randomly going to go through this. I know I did show some of these items earlier in an earlier video. 2 costume jewelry bangles, actually had 4, gave 2 away, which is actually something I've thought about. The next time I do have kids, some adults that are interested in discussing what I'm doing, and with the kids, I'm going to start giving away the toys that I find. I mean, which is mostly the toy cars. There's not too many toys made out of metal that you find at a beach. At least I haven't found many. And then if I have the opportunity to give away some costume jewelry in the future, as long as the parents don't mind, I plan on doing that. So I'll have to make sure I get that picture ahead of time. So costume jewelry. Another costume item, I have a loop I use to check for hallmarks. And in particular, anytime I see a diamond, if it's not open to the back or the prongs don't seem to actually be holding the stone, then you can quickly surmise it's costume. This one, initially, I had hopes for it, but when you look at it, I guess you don't even have to look it up close, but it's got corrosion. This is costume jewelry, and it feels a little lighter than it should from a density perspective if it was gold. This is it looked like a black tungsten ring initially with gold in the center. I still think that is gold, but this is a titanium band, and it did not have a hallmark, but it did have a maker's mark that I was able to determine that this is an older one based on the company's name on the inside, but it's essentially, I believe, a $150 ring. Of course, with the rings, frankly, I'd rather be able to find the owner. And then secondly, I think it's really just the excitement of actually finding something. I don't plan on ever taking a bunch of rings into a pawn shop trying to get 50 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar. This here, I believe, if I do take it into a shop, it's to find out if what I believe it is correct. This does not have a hallmark, but I do believe it's white gold, just based on the wear of it and the pale yellow showing through. I think it was a rhodium plated white gold or rhodium plated yellow gold. Some people do that. It's got very nice weight, and it rang up, I believe, 17, or maybe it was 7. Here is the first ring I found. So I think you've seen this one before. I believe this is 14 karat wedding band. So let's see what else. Of course, with the earrings, it's kind of interesting. What are the odds you'd ever find both earrings? So does a single earring really have any value? I've got 2 earrings here. Both, in my opinion, are costume. I mean, that would have been really neat if those were, if those were actual diamonds, but they aren't. This here does have a maker's mark, and it has 925, so this is sterling silver, and it has 10 small diamond chips, and then a bunch of small diamonds, and they could just be glass stones. I mean, really small chips making up the moon. So this one, I actually might look it up just for fun to see if I can find, I don't believe it's an old piece, and it would be interesting just to know who makes that. And then this is exciting just because of how fine the nature of the chain. This was actually sterling silver, and pretty exciting to find something this thin. This is actually what I started digging up first, and I didn't damage it. And believe it or not, it still had, even though it's broke. That's why it came off someone's neck. The actual pendant was still on the chain, about 1 inch from being lost in the sand. And this one, I was able to locate it online. It's a sterling silver, but it's essentially a $30 item. And I realized this is a bit strange, like, well, why do I have these here? I mentioned pull tabs, and I had a lot of people asking, well, what the heck is a pull tab? So back in the 70s, I'm sure in the 60s and 50s, well, actually in the 50s, opening cans, you typically took the same type of opener you'd use to poke a V-notch in Hershey's chocolate. A lot of drinks, even beer, that's what you would use, according to my father. And so I can only say in the 70s, pull tabs actually separated from the can. And these are really heavy gauge tin / aluminum, and they do not corrode. I mean, and I, believe it or not, I've just pulled 2 out to show you. I probably have dug up a dozen of these, and oftentimes you find this is called the beaver tail. So if you ever hear another metal detectorist talking, sometimes all you find is this piece because it's broken off from the actual pull tab. But obviously at some point people realized that there was a lot of litter being introduced into the environment, and so on your soda cans, those tabs, when you open up the can, they stay attached to the can, unless you're one of these people that like to fidget and rip them off. And by the way, I would say one of the other top 10 items, I know over about 8 items with you guys, but in terms of top 10, what am I finding? A lot of those pull tabs that people have separated from the can, so modern day pull tabs.